Hey, my name is Cherri V, and you are locked into Media Spotlight UK.
Can you keep a secret? I really wanna be there. Phone call in the middle of the day, the one you can't wait to make when you're a bit busy with a little time to spare for your chocolate cherry, babe. One of your 5 a day. You know the darker that it is, the sweeter I can make you a believer.
This is Billz for Media Spotlight UK, and I'm here back again with another special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Cherri V. How are you?
I like that little sing-along. That was dope.
I appreciate that. See, she's getting on the gas pump already for the vocals. I love that. But the main thing I wanted to find out to start with is, like, how did you actually come up with the name? I know that it seems like a generic question, but were you a fan of cherries? Have you been a fan of cherries, or is it literally just on the spot you just thought of it?
I was a fan of cherries at the time, but we'll just leave that there. Yeah, my name is Cherri. So Cherri just became like a nickname to Cherri. And I think at the time there was another singer that was out in the UK with the same name.
Okay.
And I thought I couldn't use my name because it would be confusing and like.
You don't want to get called upon as like, oh, you're using my name.
Yeah, and obviously other Cherri, as you know, was probably Big Brother, isn't it? Big
Yes,
Brothers,
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Dope singer, everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought I can't use that name now because somebody's like put it on the map in like UK R&B like urban world. So I had to think of a nickname. So I came up with Cherri, and my middle name is Voncel. So
I thought that was your surname, like Voncel. I always thought it was I didn't realize it was a middle name. Now, May 15th last year, you tweeted out that you have your album coming out. You have your album name.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up a year.
How do you know the date?
Oh well, I do my research.
He said May 15th. I was like, wait, what? I need to go back into my tweets and see.
I got the knowledge. Why did you decide that from that point till now that you wanted to release the album?
Well, I just felt like it had been a while since I'd released a body of my work on my own. The last project that I had released previous to this one, it's called Aethers Agoraphobia, and that was like a short EP. I had this massive like expectation to release like an album and like have like gazillion songs on it. But as I continued with my journey, I just kind of thought to myself, so I want to do like one massive album, and like then afterwards I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do now, blah, 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 whatever. Or do I want to just like keep, as I've been doing for the past year, just releasing consistent music? And that's why I spoke to the team, and we kind of come up with the idea of like doing like an EP trilogy. And I'd always been quite attached to the concept of brown-eyed soul, just because I feel like there's a definition of brown-eyed soul which is on the internet or on, like, you know what I mean, what people have defined it as, and it's more Latin based, about Latin artists. But for me, amongst my peers and my family, brown-eyed soul was always about black artists being recognized for doing urban music, which is the origin of urban music, is from us and from our soul. So but we find that a lot of time commercially it's not always accepted from black artists. It's more accepted from someone who isn't straight on Afro-Caribbean or is a bit more exotic looking or whatever. So I've always had the play on the words, and people say blue-eyed soul is very successul. So I wanted to flip that and say, you know, this is brown-eyed soul.
Bring the power to us, black counterparts.
100%, yeah.
Speaking of achievements, you got your headline show.
Yes.
Coming up this month.
Yeah.
Now, all the work that's been put into it, just before we spoke on camera, you said it was a lot to grind to that point.
Yeah.
How proud are you feeling now that you got your own show? Like this is your creation to this point. Knowing you've been around for a long time. Like, how do you feel at this stage?
I'm so excited, man. Like, I feel like I've been really selective about what types of shows I've been doing in London, just because I have been on a live circuit for a very long time. And obviously I'm not going to name like platforms, but there's so many platforms that I've done more than once. And I think it's just time to kind of like, step into on my own platform and just kind of like have some special guests that are going to be there with me that I love, who represent UK music, UK R&B music. and just kind of like own the amount of experience I have and the amount of years that I guess I've been chugging away as Cherri V. And I just felt like it's just a good time to do it now. It's not like, it's not the O2 Arena, and it's not like, do you know what I mean? What's it called? Glastonbury.
But it's a good intimate environment for your core audience that really do love your music.
Yeah, and that's what I'm happy about. That's what I wanted to focus on. And I get so many messages and so many like feedback from people that genuinely support me and artists that genuinely support me. So it's like, it's just a gift to give back, innit? Like, hey, guys have been like churning the support out for me and posting my stuff and like relating to lyrics, and I just want to sit down and have a chat with you guys and perform, because for me this headline show isn't just about like I'm going to come and sing a bunch of songs and be like thanks for coming, good night. I want to have a conversation with the audience. Like last time I done a headline show, I was on like a Q&A segment, and just I feel like nowadays I go into concerts and people are just like singing their songs and just exiting off the stage, and like, I kind of wanted you to kind of get to know me in that moment as well. So
is it like the idea of like when I've been to certain shows where there's a breakdown after a few performances and like nice slow melodic pianos playing, and then having like a Q&A or a little session, and then it's just like, oh, what do you want to ask me? So I guess it's your way of bringing back to the audience. So it's just like, I want you to speak to me.
100%. And obviously it's just like, we're all human, innit? Like obviously I know that, the perception of social media, people may think things are a certain way, but I am very adamant to kind of talk to like my audience and talk to fellow artists as well about anything that they want to discuss or whatever, and whoever I can encourage or whoever I can share with, then I'm happy to do that, because this thing is not easy.
It never is. It never is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It never is. I wanted to ask actually, because you said in previous interviews that you got brought into music at the age of 5, like inspired by your mum, who's also a singer.
You do your research.
But what I really wanted to know is what sort of music was playing in the household. So was there a lot of bashment playing? Was there a lot of lovers rock or reggae? Like what was the sort of music that you were exposed to as a kid?
Oh my gosh! So like in terms of in the house, different households in it. Like so, like we had like different wings in it. We've got different sections. So we've got like
chop off sections. One room. Yeah.
Fully. So we've got like great granny.
Yeah.
So great granny's house was like straight gospel, like nothing else. No secular music. Like don't even utter secular music in
really.
The house. Like, yeah, it's like straight gospel music, like Clark Sisters, The Water. Am I saying this right? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, there's so many gospel albums that were played in my grand's house, and my aunt used to play the Winans. I said the Winans, the Clark Sisters, and I think it's the Waters. My mum's gonna cuss me for this. So my great granny's house was straight gospel. And then my grandmother's house, where I spent so much time as well as a child, like practically like most of my time as a child, that was like a lot of like lovers rock, a lot of like Sade, a lot of soul music. That was my grand's house.
Bring it out, child.
Yeah, and then my mum's house was very much like very R&B, very lovers rock as well. And then like a lot of her music. And just a lot of the stuff that was going on in the UK at the time, like anything that was like soul based or R&B. So I had so many different influences like as a child. And then for me personally, like every time I would like switch on MTV or whatever at my grand's house, I would always gravitate to like the stuff that my uncles and that wouldn't want to listen to, like like back in the day you had like MTV raps and stuff, like they would want to listen to that, but then like Alanis Morissette would come on and I'd be like, I want to listen to this. So I think I've always had like a love for like R&B, gospel, blah, blah, blah. I do have a genuine love for pop music, and I feel like that's why in terms of like my writing, I think sometimes people feel like they can't really class me as like I don't know, R&B soul to the core, because there's a lot of like
different parts to different genres that impact to you being an R&B singer. So it's different pots to it.
Yeah. So I think the vocals have definitely always been inspired by R&B gospel music, but like I do love different styles of songwriting. So there's a few different influences that were around there, but those are the ones that were in the houses that I grew up in.
Okay, so like any sort of family parties that come up, I would expect like mixtures of gospel, mixtures of lovers rock, mixtures of R&B mixtures of like pop all over everywhere. So it'll be a nice easy party for
cocktail. Yeah, a little bit of
cocktail. Cocktails involved as well.
No.
Oh,
a cocktail of music.
Okay, so it's a concoction of all different types.
Yeah.
Stuck in a situationship. I'm addicted to the pain I live.
Those in our audience might believe that you seem across as a new artist, but you've been around for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a little over 10 years that you've been in the game now.
Something.
We're not exposing ages here, but you have been grinding for a long time. Some people like I've seen that have pushed for where they want to go, and after a certain amount of time, there's troubles that happen or difficulties that happen. It gets them to the point of like, am I really doing this for myself now? Blah blah blah. But for you, like what I like about you is that you stay consistent, you stay hungry, you stay wanting this. How do you manage after all this time?
I don't manage, babe. Do you know what? I feel like there has been moments when I have just been like, this is on, like fully well and truly. I think that it goes in seasons. Like I definitely know that there's nothing else that I want to do more. Music's in my veins, in my blood. It's the thing that I do most naturally and brings me the most joy in terms of any career path would. But it definitely goes in seasons. I will never sit here and be like, oh yeah, man, I'm always like self-motivated and I'm always like, yes, it comes as a breeze to me, because sometimes it doesn't, man. And there's been times when, like, as people that follow me for a long time have seen that I've taken time out. I've taken, like, even though I've been like in other platforms when it comes to music, but in terms of artistry, there's been moments when I thought, nah, I can't actually do this anymore, because I feel like I'm pushing so hard and the results that I'm getting back are not really measuring up to where I feel like I ought to be, or others feel like I ought to be. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's definitely a journey, and it's not easy. And for me, it's really important for me to let people know that, because I think sometimes people jump into this thing and think it's a microwave thing. Like, you get one track and then you're gone, and then you get on a feature and then it's gone, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're just made, like, you're just, that's it.
Even with someone like Steph London, that I've noticed that, even though she's got one track that's made her completely blow out the water, I've known of her material like from like 2013, 2012.
Sick.
I think there was a tune that she did, don't kill me if it's wrong, but Instagram, like, and working with Section Boys, from Inch from Section Boys before really blowing up. So it is a journey, and I'd like to think for myself as well that going on this, like, I've been around for doing this for 6 years, and it is difficult. But what I like about what you're saying is that life is not always blossomy and roses all over the place. Even though you got red hair, it's literally a grind.
Yeah, it is 100%. And there's different parts of it. I guess I've been solo artist. I've been in a group. I've been a backing vocalist for an amazing successful artist. I've done,
which we'll come to later on,
backing vocals in the studio. I do lots of different things for things that people watch, they would never know that I'm singing on. There's a lot of different areas to this, like private events, corporate. There's so many different things, and there's so many different ways you need to grind, like, and even that, like, starting my own night and having a platform there, which is another avenue for just keeping things afloat. Yes. Keeping things afloat and keeping things going, and like, it's a lot to be done, and there's a lot that goes into it. And after, when I really look back at some of the things I've done, I just think to myself, mad, I don't even know how I've kept going. But it's just a passion. I'm just passion driven.
Now, one person that you've worked with in the past, Roxanne. Now, I spoke to her 2 years ago on a press day of her comeback. Well, I wouldn't say comeback, but coming back into the fold in music. Now, I was asking her what it was like in the female scene a couple of years ago, and she was telling me that you girls were uniting at a time where there wasn't much male backing for you girls, and she said that nowadays where we have like new artists in the fold, like Miss Banks, like Steph London, like Paige Akeki, that have a lot of backing. You know, you even been on a game over remix with the girls, and you know there was a few tunes like that, and there was a few artists that were drifting. And some have come back into the fold, and then you got a new generation of artists. So I wanted to get your take on your experience in, you know, how like female empowerment has changed over the years to now, like it's dominating to the level that they're reaching our male counterparts.
I think it's epic, and it's taken way too long.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think there's, especially from a grime perspective, there's a lot of MCs that are like female MCs, even though I don't even like saying female MCs, femme MCs. Like some people find it a bit.
Just call it the artist superstars.
Yeah, exactly. Artists that, like female artists that have been calling out people that have been saying like, "Oh, you're good for a girl." I'm like, I'm not good for a girl. I'm just good. Period.
Wow.
These girls are like coming with fire.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, the girls you're talking about, Steph London, Miss Banks, Lady Leisha.
Yes,
like,
of course.
Yo, like these people have been going for a minute. Like you've just called me about how long Steph's been going for, but I've known of Miss Banks' journey, and I've known of Lady Leisha's journey, those two in particular. And like for me, like I just feel like it's just straight raw talent.
Of
so
course.
How could that ever be denied? You know what I mean? So the fact that that's been embraced now is just amazing to me. And I think what's happening as well, like a lot of the females are coming together and realizing the strength of that, strength in numbers, and just the strength in love. Right? Because the fact of the matter is, like, because everything's so internet based, so about social media and about like things being transcended so far just because it's online, they're realizing that there's room for everyone. Once upon a time, the motto was there's only room for one of you of that shade to get through.
Yeah.
There's only room of one of you for that gender to get through. But now, you got these Spotify playlists, you got YouTube, you got everything, Instagram. People are just scrolling, clicking what they like, putting their favorite playlist together, and just living their best life. So I think people are realizing that, and so the love is a lot more freely given now. And I think that's helped a lot, 100%. And I feel like even with like the R&B side of things, I'm seeing that so much.
Oh yeah, that's been pushed through. You've got a lot of new talent, and the power of social media has helped dramatically as well.
And I feel like for me, it encourages me to do more as well. It encourages me to like hear something and shout someone out. It encourages me to like hear a tune on someone's EP and just be like, I'm posting it on my socials because it's so sick. And then somebody that likes me will like it. You know what I mean? Somebody that likes my music will.
It's basically sharing the love.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me a lot of the time. Like I've been embraced by a lot of artists, like the Terry Walkers, the Kelly LaRocks, and Jamila's, and on my journey I've been embraced by them all. I've been embraced by them all. So for me not to do that, I'm not saying that, you know, I am I am the Grammy Award winning Cherri V or anything, but I'm just saying, like, for me not to do that as well, like to artists that I've just started out or artists that are like sailing and whatever, that would be just like, what's wrong with you? Cuz
yeah, bring it to the cane, fam. Trust me, don't leave them out. All of that stuff.
Yeah, so it's just about spreading love. So we're helping ourselves as well. So it's dope.
Fancy little hotel in the middle of nowhere. You double dare me, no reception, no Wi-Fi, no tweeting. Doors locked and we'll hide away in a private space. I know you never know just what I'm thinking. A little more for me than Lincoln. My imagination's running wild.